Welcome, y'all, to Dishing It with D. The topic that we're going to talk about today is Martell Holt planning Sheree's birthday dinner and then asking the ladies to pay for their meal. Is that a do or is that a don't? Now, I must, in full disclosure, let you know that I haven't watched Real Housewives of Atlanta since Nene and Portia left, to be honest with you. But everybody's talking about this, and I thought I'd get up here and talk about it as well. Because I think the larger question at play here is, birthday dinner etiquette, whether a person is expected to pay for the meal if he or she plans the actual dinner or not. Okay, so anyways, but Martell and Sheree supposedly be at a different financial status than most people are, right? Because they are quasi reality or celebrities and should be kind of at a tier where you would think maybe that this would come into play, where the male or whoever is actually hosting the dinner would probably just pay for the entire meal. So let's unpack this. Okay, so Martell, I don't know whether it was a surprise dinner for Sheree or what. Don't know how the invites went out to the girls, but apparently, there was a, birthday dinner and Martell planned it. I assume the ladies with some level of expectation was that he was going to pay for their meals. He was planning it. It was a surprise for his boo, or dinner for his boo. Like I said, I don't know if it was a surprise or not, but it was a dinner for his boo, right? And it was her birthday. So they got all dressed up and, ready to support and, say happy birthday. And then all of a sudden the check comes out and everybody got to pay for their meal. So everybody looking at him with a side eye and looking at Sheree like, this is what you got. This is what you got. This is what you're working with. But you would think probably, in their tier of where they are, that you would probably think that Martell would have been able to pick up the tab. I don't know how many girls it was. I don't think it was a whole lot of people. It wasn't like a wedding party or anything like that. It was, just her friends or what have you. Maybe 10, 15 people. I don't know. But anywho, even at the most expensive restaurant, you would think that probably wouldn't have set him back probably maybe, depending on how many drinks they had, whether they ordered the highest, costing meal on the menu. It probably would have, probably ran him. I'm just going to say probably, a couple racks, 2 or 3 racks, maybe at the most $4,000 or something like that. That's if people were really drinking it up or whatever. Let's just say 5,000, right? You should be rolling like that. You with the likes of Sheree, that's how you presenting yourself. But we all know, let's just be honest with you. We know that Martell, and I don't even want to even talk about him because all the shenanigans that he, with love and marriage Huntsville with his wife, his beautiful 4 kids, and all of that foolishness, the fool-la-la he did, and cheated on her, got another woman pregnant, been cheating on her outside their marriage for 5 years. I'm not even going to go into that. But since the divorce, he and Melody divorced, Martell really hasn't, what kind of money is he making? What is his job? He basically, when we really found out that he didn't even have his builder's license, that Melody was actually the one that was holding shit together. She basically had the builder's license. I mean, he was a fool to let that woman go. I mean, and she has really, in the separation, she has really solidified herself in a lot of areas, right? I mean, she's got, her housing preservation classes, master classes. She's selling for like $1,500 a pop. She's got a skincare line. She's got a hair care line for her babies, you know, with her, you know, sugar mama. She's now paired with someone, you know, with a clothing line. I mean, she's always somewhere speaking at a speaking engagement. Don't forget that she also been singing as well. She's cutting record deals and all of this. So this girl is working nonstop, and she's really has branded herself beyond Martell. Now, I don't know what Martell has been doing. He launched some kind of wine after his grandmother's name, Inez. I don't know how well that's doing, but he synced up. We know that this whole charade with Sheree was a charade, right? For him to get more visibility on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know whether Sheree was paying him 15% out of her cut for being on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But the only thing that we know that he has is the Love and Marriage Huntsville. So the man probably broke. Now barely able to keep his head above water. So I don't think he probably had the means to pay for it. Now, I think that knowing Martell, the way he liked to suit up and look good, I think he smells good because I don't know, but he looked like he would smell good the way he, you know, dresses and everything. I would think that Martell would have been glad to flaunt and pay for those meals if he had the means to do so. I just don't think the brother does, okay? But it brings us to a larger question, and what I would like for us to dish about, and I'd love to hear your comments about this, is, you know, is the expectation for, say, if your significant other, your spouse, or your, you know, whatever, your, boyfriend plans a party for you. Now, when we say plan, we're not talking about planning something at, you know, your house, or you renting out a center where you're planning. You know, you got to pay for everything then because you're planning all the logistics. But we're talking about a birthday dinner where you go to a restaurant. Now, is the expectation for you to do like what Martell did was, you know, hey, I'll make all the arrangements. I'll send out the invites. I'll call the restaurant and book and make sure that we have the seating capacity to fit everyone. I might even bring the cake in there, you know what I'm saying? With a candle or two on it. But everybody is responsible for their own meal, okay? That's what Martell did. That's, planning. It can be planning, but that's just it. Like I said, anybody can, call the restaurant, figure out what restaurant, first of all, call the restaurant for capacity, make sure you're locked in a date, send out some evites, or either just call the girls up and say, hey, I'm planning a surprise party for Sheree. I want you to be here at this time. But the question is, would the expectation be that the man should pay for everybody's meal because it is that person's, your special one's birthday? Or would you expect to pay your own? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't have friends that balls like that. You know what I'm saying? I got friends that, they sitting there counting, let's see, carry the one, cross over the I, mark the T on the tip and everything. We go out to eat, it's like, okay, this is your cut. Okay, let's do the tip. Let's see, carry the one, cross out the I and the Y, and here's your portion, here's your portion, here's your portion, here's your portion. So, I'm used to paying for my own. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to paying for my own. I don't expect anybody to pay anything for me, even on the birthday day. Maybe, want to say, oh, well, yeah, I'll pick up the birthday tab. I'll pick up the birthday girls tab along with mine, but everybody else got to pay for their own. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't finagle in the rich circles. So I don't know if that's something that people expect. I do know that there was a situation once before. It wasn't even a birthday dinner. It wasn't even a birthday dinner. Okay, this was just a dinner, a lunch or something. I think it was a lunch that my daughter's friend, I don't even know if you would call him a boyfriend or whatever, but he was a friend of hers at the time. I was visiting her in LA, and he had his daughter there, And my daughter was there. I was there. And since it was in LA, I have a sister and a brother-in-law that lives there, and their family. They came to join us. And we all met up for this lunch. And basically, when the check came, now I didn't expect this because I had my own coins, okay? But her guy friend, picked up the tab for him, her, which is my daughter, myself, and his daughter. He picked up the tab for us. But my sister and her husband had to pay for their meal. Now, I know that there was some conversation later on that my brother-in-law was like, well, why didn't he pick up our tab? Now, these are grown folks, real grown folks that's got real money. But they had the expectation, if he's picking up the tab for all of you all, why didn't he pick up the tab for us? So you just never know what people expect, because I would have never even thought, because I didn't even want him to pick up my tab because I had my own money. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no expectation that he was going to pick up mine. I thought he'd probably just pick up maybe his daughter, maybe my daughters, because they were kicking it with one another. But I didn't expect him to pick up mine. I'm out there visiting. I got my own coins. So that's what I'm saying. So the larger question comes into play. What are people's expectations when it comes to meals and, sharing the tabs and the tip and, who's supposed to pick up what, when, and how? I don't know what the etiquette is, like I say, because I always go into any dinner, any situation where I'm invited, or whether either I'm throwing or hosting, I'm thinking that the norm would be that you pick up your own tab. You know what I'm saying? Unless otherwise specified. Now, if you send out on the invite and say, okay, I'm covering this, or you may say on the invite that all parties have to pay for their own. If it's not necessarily spelled out, then what is the etiquette? Is it a blurred line? I don't know. Is it based on if you know that person well enough that you set some levels of expectation in terms of what you expect? I have no idea. So I'd like for us to chat about it in the chat. However, with Martell, I know he's getting dragged through the coals because, like I say, they're at a different tier, or at least we think they're in a different tier because they are on TV. We feel like that they are, they're living these celebrity type lifestyles, that they should be able to, pick up the tab. That's the expectation, that he should be able to pick up the tab. And I must say, I don't like Martell not one bit at all, because of all the fool-la-la that he's done to Melody and his family, that beautiful family. But I would have to think that Martell would have picked up that tab if he had the coins. I just don't think the brother had them. But you all let me know what you think about it. That's all I got. Dished it up. Let's talk about it in the comment section, and till we talk the next time. Thanks again for tuning in to Dishing It with D. Don't forget to like this video, also comment on it, share it, and subscribe. And also hit that notification bell so that you will be alerted when we drop something new. Thanks again for tuning in to Dishing It with D.